Hey friends, welcome to my channel. It is me, Candace, and Beauty and All. Ow. Again, my name is Candace. I am an author tuber, soon to be author tuber. I am an aspiring author. I'm working on my debut novel, Project Hecatomb. As I mentioned in my last video, I wanted to share with you all some beginner-friendly templates to help get you started with the writing of a novel, or if you're somebody who's already, in an intermediate phase and you just want something simple. By all means, please use a spreadsheet. I'll make it available for everyone to use as a shareable document. With the document, I would say that for me, starting out as a new writer, I watch hundreds, well, let me not exaggerate, but I've watched quite a few videos, got into a sinkhole, just starting out trying to figure out where to start. So that's why I made these templates that I'm going to share with you all just to start out. So you'll just have something to start with, not necessarily saying you have to use these throughout. Obviously, it's your choice. You have free will. The purpose of those templates that I do have is because me as a new writer starting out, it was just such an overload of information of where to begin as a writer, but just wanted to give just maybe a backbone or just something to start out to get you going, and then you can build upon that going forward. Well, I have built up 4 templates that I'm going to be sharing with you all. It is going to be in the description box below. So if you would like to download that template as a beginner friendly, just starting out, you're more than welcome to use that. So I developed these templates just for anyone else who's just looking to keep it plain and simple, like me, I guess, in my terms, or if it's something that you just want to use as a beginner and you don't necessarily know where to start. So if you're interested in my channel and my content that I have, you're more than welcome to hit that subscribe button and be so kind to like this video and watch all the way to the end. All right, y'all, so let's get this video started. Man, that's a good cup of coffee. Again, I just wanted to share this all with you because there's so much information out there, and I had some very not pivotal, but very thankful for the AuthorTube community for helping to provide some of these resources. Sincerely V and Anna New. Both of those 2 ladies were just a pivotal part in helping me get started with my writing journey, just from being simple and the simplicity of it all, of developing templates. 2 of the templates that I have were inspired by them, and I know that there are other people out there that have the same thing too, but I watched their videos and this gave me a lot of insight on things I needed to do, and as I incorporated their ways of doing things as far as creating a character profile in a 0 draft, I expanded on that from my own take for how I wanted to see the novel. So without further ado, I just started out with a blank document here because I didn't want to start with showing you all exactly what I had first. So we're going to take a look at the character profile, and the character profile that I have here, it's already filled in with the information. You're more than welcome to use what's here if you want, or if you want to take out everything and just use it as your own template. But most importantly here, character template profile. This is something that I like to have on the side as I'm working on the character voice throughout the novel. This isn't a character profile card that you would use to add in the deep intricate details. This is just like a brief summary just to help get you started. This is something that I did because I really needed to just start from somewhere and then build up from there, or build out to the sides from that. First thing we have here, as y'all clearly can see, is the project name. You have the role in the story. There is a drop down menu here just to give you an idea of the types of roles that are within novels, because everyone has a duty, everyone has a purpose in a novel. You should never have anyone in your novel that does not serve as a purpose. You can click on the drop down menu here and you can go ahead and select that. Sometimes you may have characters that have a dual role in the story. So that is something that you may want to think about. If you have the drop down menu, you don't have to leave it in here when you use it. You can take it out and just type it in if it doesn't meet the aesthetic of what you like. Then on the side here, I included in the 12 types of 12 types of characters that every writer should know. This article is going to be very beneficial for you when you're trying to figure out who you want to be, what type of character in your story. So this article is from Ubeezie. You're more than welcome to go ahead and use this link to read this. Ubeezie does have really great resources. I don't use it to write my novel right now. However, it does have a lot of good resources and give you the definitions as well as some examples of the different character types. So next up is the race, ethnicity, and species. Depending upon what type of book that you're writing, you may want to categorize this section differently. You have the age, the height, add the expression on there, and then also with appearance, you can describe, body shape, what do they always appear as, maybe the type of clothing they always wear. You can get really creative with that. Enneagram type. So the Enneagram types is also in a drop-down menu. You can go ahead and select the Enneagram type. If you're interested in doing that for your characters, you can go ahead and Google Enneagram type and you could take a test. It is a very extensive test, so keep that in mind if you're looking to do that for each character. So I went ahead and provided the Enneagram type descriptions, and also with the descriptions, going to give you their strengths and weaknesses and also show you who they're compatible with. So let's click on the reformer so y'all can see how this works for the Enneagram type. So this just goes like a little bit more in detail to know about the different personalities if you're really going to deep dive in with your characters, which I definitely suggest doing so that you can know your traits and know your characters' weaknesses, strengths, their quirks, likes, dislikes, just so that you can create that compelling character. There's some examples over here of different personalities of people who are reformers, and then just gives a little bit of other comparisons down here that you can look for. It's a really great read if you're looking to really create a compelling character, just so that you can nail it on the head with your character being most likable, especially if they're going to be the protagonist. I'm going to make sure to make sure to leave that in this template. And then after the Enneagram type comes the key personality traits. The key personality traits I think would be very beneficial for you to list down there. It doesn't have to be anything long or drawn out, maybe a couple bullet points summarized up for you. Now moving on to the backstory. The backstory is very important in creating a compelling and marketable character. So every character has to have a backstory because we need to know what is fueling them to their present day now of how you're telling the story. With backstories, you want to think about what has shaped them before the story began. I kind of just said the same thing. And what influences their personality. One of the big things that really influence a lot of people's personalities today is just, your general upbringing, relationships, and religion. All those play an intricate part of making up who you are. And developing these characters, I can say it can be very complicated because with us, as we know as humans, we are our own selves and we've spent X amount of years already developing ourselves and who we are and how our past that shaped us. But with these characters, you really have to take a deep dive in and really think about how their past has shaped them to today. Whether it's something, good or bad, everybody is influenced by something, and that's something that you're gonna have to figure out. Other backstory items is what are their strengths and weaknesses. You need to have key motivations as to why they're living the life that they do now, if there's any past trauma, and if there's any biggest fears and or regrets that your character has that drives their motivation to be who they are today. So that's just a bit on the backstory. It doesn't have to be long or drawn out. It can just be a snippet of what you have, but if you want to make it longer drawn out, do whatever you like. All right, and then the last section here is just a quick summary card so that you can have this on your side just as a quick reminder as you're going through your dialogue and what your character is doing on a day-to-day basis. So we have things like what your character wants, what your character needs, what lie that they believe, and what is the truth. These are very important questions to ask because as people, and you want to make your character likable as far as also being relatable too, you need to define what these things are so that as your reader is reading, they are also deciding what your character should do too. Just make it more realistic, so to say. Also, you want to find out how your character is starting out, like what are their traits, and then at the end, what do you want to see them become. For each character card, I went ahead and made the names on the character card a title, so that if you do make multiple of these cards, you can just copy and paste the card, and then you can go ahead and click on the name and it'll drop down to that character card. So this is the other character card here. I'm laughing a little bit because the two people I know that be watching these videos, they're gonna laugh when they see this character. But once you just click on a name, it'll go to that page so you can get quickly to that person. Because I imagine that as you're filling this card out, it's going to be more than one page. It may end up being 2 pages. So this will be beneficial for you to jump around on. So the next thing we're gonna head over to is the zero draft. Now this one this was the backbone to me writing Project Hecatomb, the first draft, and it's going to be the backbone for the second revision phase, okay? So the purpose of the zero draft, it is a pre-draft summary. This is to really help you to tell the story in short sentences based on each chapter. And with this, you do not have to have perfect writing, but it's really just to give you a starting point of where you need to be for each chapter. And as you complete each bullet point, you can have as many as you want. You just want to make sure you check the box here when you have completed that task of explaining that scene, or maybe that dialogue, or maybe that confrontation. You just want to make sure you check that box off that you have completed that task within that chapter. With the zero draft, you don't have to complete the zero draft all the way to its entirety from start to finish. You could be a prancer where you complete the zero draft as you go along and let your characters unfold as you write the story and let them do their thing. So just make sure to build upon that as you do your zero draft, and honestly, do not feel like you need to have it written in. You'll find your writing style. So next up, we're going to go to the overview, and I showed this in one of my last videos for my novel organization. So I thought that this was something very beneficial for me because I just honestly needed to know what was going on as far as where I am in my novel. So with this, it's basically just an overview of what you have all in one central location. All right, so starting up at the top here, we have the word count, which calculates from an Excel formula, just a simple sum formula there. And then we have how many chapters in the draft 1 status we have completed that are in progress, the ones that we have not started, and then it's also capturing the total number of chapters that we do have. As we scroll down here, and actually let me back up just a little bit so that I can see it. We have here the number of chapters that are listed, and then also the headers for the columns. We start off with chapter, song, inspiration, if that's something that you want to have there. I went ahead and linked in just like a tester for you all. It's my Spotify playlist for Project Hecatomb. Or if you want to put a YouTube video, if that's your thing, say for example, if you forget your headphones somewhere and you're out writing and I don't know, you want to listen to it from your computer, you can just go ahead and click the song and then continue listening to it over and over if that's your thing, if that's what you want to do. The point of view, POV, I have listed this here because I know for me, like, I like writing based off POVs in chapters. All right, so when you do click on the POV to make selections, it is by multiple selections, so you're more than welcome to add more than one person in. Let's say for example we meant to add in another person, it's going to add that person in there for you. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied. If you do need to make edits to the names, which obviously I hope you would do because you can't name somebody character, you'll just click on the little pencil there, and then you'll go over to the side and go ahead and change out the name of the characters 1 through 4, and then you'll go ahead and select done once you are done with that. Next up over here is the scene type. Same goes as well as far as making edits. You can select more than one over here. By all means, please change all of these out. These are just options for you to get started, just so that you can get an idea of what to put in those sections. But these are multiple choice, well, multiple selections if you want to click on that. For the draft 1 status, this is very pivotal for me because I needed to keep up to date with what chapters were complete. The pre-selections that are here is not started, in progress, and completed. And then of course here, word count, because that is very important. So you'll go ahead and type in the numbers there. It will automatically calculate for you. And then last thing up is the manuscript page. So this was very fun to do. It can get very tedious. I mean, making all of these are very fun, to be honest, because I like doing stuff like this. It's like I told y'all before, I like having control of things that I'm working on. Here we have the manuscript page. It's just a Word document already set in the book format if you were to print it or send it off to an editor so that they can read it. So we have here on the front just manuscript page, and then the title of your project, and then you can put your name here. And then once we scroll down, you'll see we have the prologue, and we have your name and title as the header, and then we also have page numbers down at the bottom. The formatting is 11. However, for the header and footer, that is still Laura. But that is a size 8. Ended in for each paragraph is at 0.5, and the spacing in between is at 1.15. The margins all around for the draft here is at 0.75. All right, and then last thing here, oh, not last thing here, but when you are making your draft, is also very important that not to create a new tab. I made that mistake for my very first time writing a draft, and I wasn't able to combine everything how I wanted to. So just to make it a lot easier, just go ahead and create titles so that you can quickly jump to the chapter that you are working on. So just quickly go ahead and do that, and that'll be very helpful for you. Something else that I included down here in chapter 3, I just went ahead and added in the formatting changes within the manuscript document. Just so that this could help you out, to let you all know how to make those changes. Is very simple and easy. In order to change the margins all around, you go to File and then Setup. All right, so we're just gonna go to File, and you're gonna click on Setup. And this is the setup here, just your paper size. This is the standard sizing for a book. A lot of people that I've been seeing nowadays have been changing the color of their formatting. Mine is a different color as well too. I mean, I switch it out all the time, but sometimes I just like to do purple, or if I just want to have it look just like something different, I'll maybe change it to yellow. Just whatever you choose to do, it is up to you. But you'll go down to File and then Page Setup. You'll change your paper size down to A5. It's on white. And then again, everything is 1.75 for the margins all around. And then you click OK. And then now we're going to go and change the indentation for when we're starting a new paragraph. So we're going to go to Format, Align and Indent, and then Indentation Options. For special indent, you'll click on first line, and then first line is going to be 0.5. And that is a setting that for some reason I have to keep updating over and over just to make sure. So make sure you do that. And we're gonna do 2 more after that, and then we'll be wrapping up here. So for your headers and footers, you'll click on Format, and then you'll click on Headers and Footers, and this is how you'll be able to make your headers and footers. Now the header I did 0.3, and then the bottom I did 0.5, and this is going to be different from the first page, because the first page of the book, which is the title, we're not going to number that page at all. And then you just click Apply. Now the only other selection, just to make sure that you keep within your manuscript, just to make sure that the formatting is correct, is to make sure you go up to the alignment and select Justify. That is so important. I did not do that the first time I was writing, and I had to go back and update that for each chapter individually. And the reason why I had to do that individually is because if you select your chapter title and you click on justify, it's going to shift over your title. So just make sure you go ahead and justify each one as you're writing so that you don't have to go back to that. But hopefully this information was helpful to you all, and this is something that you'll be able to use in your writing journey. I know for me, it does work for me and what I am doing. So I'm just trying to get myself successful as possible. If there's any other resources out there that you all know of that you'll think that we'll all benefit from, please make sure to drop that in the comments. And thank y'all for staying to the end of this video. I will see y'all next week at 10 a.m. Hope y'all have, not hope, but you'll have a good day today.